All right, good evening. This is a public meeting of the Board of Education of Clark Public Schools. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with PL 1975, Chapter 231, and that a special notice was made in conformance with Section 13 of the Act. Can we have a motion to return to public session? Ms. Guerrero, second. Mr. Smorrow, all in favor? Can we stand for pledge to the flag, please? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now take roll call. Ms. Akalonis, Mr. Bensavinga, Mr. Bone, Mr. Brady,
Here.
Ms. Guerrero,
Here.
Ms. Harrison,
Here.
Ms. Hickman,
Here.
Mr. Lewis,
Here.
and Mr. Smorrow.
Here.
Mr. Dunkersloot, having 6 board members who have a quorum.
Okay, can I get a approval of the minutes? Christina and Megan.
Mr. Brady,
Abstain.
Ms. Guerrero,
Yes.
Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Ms. Hickman,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
and Mr. Smorrow.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, the floor is open to public for agenda items only. Anybody would like to speak? Seeing none, we will move on to personnel. Agenda items 1 to 11. Motion, Bob, Megan, second. Any questions, comments?
Mr. Brady,
We'll do that after that.
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero,
Abstain on 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. Yes on the rest.
Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Ms. Hickman,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
and Mr. Smorrow.
Yes.
Motion
Okay,
carried.
and we're going to kind of piggyback on that. We have the addenda personnel 1 to 4. So if I can get a motion, Bob, and come right back to Megan. Questions, comments? Roll call.
Mr. Brady,
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero,
Abstain on number 3. Yes on the rest.
Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Ms. Hickman,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
and Mr. Smorrow.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving on to curriculum education, 12 and 13. Can I get a motion? Can I get a motion? Bob? Christine? Any comments, any questions?
Mr. Brady,
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero,
Yes.
Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Ms. Hickman,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
and Mr. Smorrow.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving along to board governance, 14 to 19. Motion, Bob again. Bob back behind him. Comments, questions? We're really cooking.
Brady,
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero,
Abstain on 17 and 18, and yes on the rest.
Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Ms. Hickman,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
and Mr. Smorrow.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me, I have to abstain on number 19 also.
19, okay, so noted. Thank you. Mr. Smorrow,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, finance, motion 20 to 31. Bob, second. Bob again. Questions, comments? Roll call.
Brady,
Yes.
Ms. Guerrero,
Yes.
Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Ms. Hickman,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
and Mr. Smorrow.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, report of the superintendent.
Good evening, and thank you, Mr. Lewis. On our district website, under the Curriculum, Technology, and Assessment page, our state assessment results have been updated to include the NJSLA, which is the more standard test for all of our students, and the DLM, which is the test that our more severely disabled students take. The Curriculum Committee has already met once to review these results, and we plan on meeting again to plan our next steps before going into more depth with the full board. Arts Integration Day took place last Monday at Carl H. Kumpf. We're continuing to implement a good summer training at Princeton University, and I'd like to thank Mr. Delmonico for bringing this initiative to our middle school. Our 8th grade open house took place in mid-October, and it was preceded by an Honors Academy information session, another one to follow next Tuesday evening. Our academic and extracurricular programs were both highlighted, and we cannot stress enough that we want to retain our 8th grade students because ALJ is where they belong without a question. And many thanks to Mrs. Oliveira and your team for such a wonderful evening. Through the school counseling office, the registration form for our Princeton Review SAT prep class that the BOE is kind enough to sponsor went out, and the responses are due back December the 6th. And with today being Veterans Day, many thanks to the great men and women who gave so very much for this great country of ours so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we do on a daily basis. And on behalf of the Clark Schools, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you, Mr. Grande. Report of the committees? Seeing none. Unfinished business? New business? Aiden, we'll turn it over to you for student board member update.
Thank you. Thank you, and good evening. I'll begin my report with events at Arthur L. Johnson, where Honor Academy students had the first-hand demonstration of physics on their recent field trip. These students went to iFly, where they were taught about the physics of flying, and then had the opportunity to go into a wind chamber and experience flight for themselves. Later last month, the school also held an AP Scholars Breakfast, which brought together parents and students to celebrate students receiving the AP Scholar Award. Closing off the month on Halloween, we held our annual Halloween parade, where seniors were invited to dress up and show off their costumes. Over at Kumpf Middle School, picture retakes will be taking place later this month on November 15th. After that, on November 16th, Kumpf's Unified Sports Team will be participating in the Turkey Splash over at Asbury Park. Even if you can't attend, you can still donate so that their team can raise the most money out of all the schools involved. Finally, students will have a uniquely informative opportunity to interact with guest speakers who will discuss their family experience with the Holocaust. Moving on to Frank A. Henley School, they had an exciting month with the Week of Respect and Red Ribbon Week. This culminated in a DEA helicopter landing outside of the school and a lesson about drugs. Alongside this, the school held a pumpkin decorating contest where students were able to show off their creativity. Finally, they closed out the month with their exciting Halloween parade and parties. Over at Valley Road, students were invited to play all sorts of games, including ping pong and mini golf, at their Fall Fest. On top of that, the school held the Legends of the Courtyard. At this event, parents and teachers alike dressed up in costumes to scare the students as they walked through their haunted courtyard. Ending off October, Halloween parties were held in each class, and the school worked with the Clark Police Department to run their expansive Halloween parade. Finally, the Clark Preschool had a chance to meet with Arthur L. Johnson students through Tomorrow's Teachers. Specifically, these students were visited the preschool disabled program, and needless to say, the preschools were excited to meet their fellow Clark students, and it was a great learning opportunity for the Tomorrow's Teachers students. Thank you.
Aiden, I got a comment. You're solid.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You got the part. You're solid, Aiden. Thank you. Okay, hearing of the public. Anybody want to come up and speak?
Bill Draghi, 47 Post Road, Clark, New Jersey. I deeply respect the veterans. My father-in-law was in the war, and he got an award for bravery, and my father was in the National Guard. The United States has to be held responsible for the 1 million abortions being allowed every year in the United States. They're protected, abortionists, and the abortions are protected by law. And Governor Murphy is supporting the abortions by making abortion classes being allowed in our public schools, probably promoting abortions with some of the students, and that is a terrible thing. He also has laws supporting LGBTQ promotions with our students, and the parental guidance. And I must have listened to 20 or 30 Trump rallies, and he came out and said he's going to be against this. And he mentioned that the parental guidance not being allowed in certain states. He is going to come out against this, and he'll probably change that, I hope. And not only parental guidance, he also mentioned other things, other things that aren't related to the schools, but hope and pray that the teachers will not allow a parent not to be notified if their student is thinking about having their sex changed, or because if the student wants to do it and the parent and in this state and the parent does not want it to be done, the student can still go through with it. Let's say one of the teachers is for this, and that's terrible. And these are the things that President Trump will probably change. He said he would. And every one of the rallies he did mention that.
Okay, your time is up. Thank you for your time. Motion for adjournment?
Can I, just a reminder to board members, or FYI, the Union County School Board Association will be, originally had its meeting scheduled for December the 11th. Wednesday, it has been moved to Tuesday, December the 10th. It's going to start at 6:45 if it's virtual, and you can attend also in person, and it's going to be held at the Cranford High School, and the topic has to do with budget development. So be on the lookout in your emails for an invitation to attend the Union County School Board meeting in December, and that's all.
Thank you. Motion for adjournment? Everybody.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Just a cameo tonight, that's all.
Got his own style.
Yeah, a little different.
Yeah, it's cracking up over here.
Go around. No problem.
Sure?
Yep, I'm positive.